just want to introduce myself to you all. My name is Victor Cruz. I know some of you saw that I was posting today. Your father's name is Victor Cruz. See, he was one of the originals. Because when I say Victor Cruz, people think it's the football player. When I go to restaurants, it's unbelievable. When Victor Cruz first kicked off, I would make reservations at a restaurant. I'd show up and they'd think it was the other one. They'd be like, ice sculpture of a football waiting for me. It was fantastic. They'd have to give me the table. They couldn't deny me. They're like, oh, Victor Cruz, okay, come anyways. Now, how many of you guys know the story of Los Reyes? The three kings. You guys know the story? There was only like a few hands. I suspect others are not sure. I know that there was going to be coffee, pero no sé. They said something about kings, pero yo no sabía si they were actual kings. Well, let me just say something. We've got some actual kings and queens in the house tonight. And let me say something. You know, there are a lot of king and queens in our community that do some major things. And let's give a big round of applause to all of those king and queens that we know in our community. Well, the three kings, basically the story was, they heard un bochinche. As Latinos do, oyeron un bochinche, que supuestamente Joseph wasn't the father. And they said, man, we gotta go find out what's happening. Que se tremendo bochinche. And then what happened was, they were like, mira, you know what, let's just follow that star, and that'll take us to the stable where Jesus is at. But it turns out it was a plane. So they kept following the plane, and that's why they got to Jesus late. That's why we celebrate Three Kings on December 6th, and of course this year, December 4th, because it's Friday, we can bring the kids to participate in La Parada with actual camels. Actual camels del barrio. For one time, there's camels del barrio. And the camels have an attitude. They don't like the spinach. So be nice to the camels. All right. You guys having a good time so far? Yes. You guys don't get breakfast? Yes. No, I didn't know there was breakfast. Espérate, don't start the show till I get coffee. You know, Latinos, we can't start our day without coffee. That's like number one, right? And for some who don't drink coffee, tea, pero normalmente it's coffee. ¿Verdad? Coffee? Cafecito. You guys have your coffee? All right, make sure. Hiram, you got your coffee? He said, oh yeah. Oh yeah. This suit is tight. I can feel the coffee. All right, so as you know, the theme of this year is advocacy in action. Okay? This year we celebrate the parade's long history and honor individuals who have made significant contributions to the Latino community. Now, give me a round of applause to that. Come on now. Major stuff. Now, before we get started, I'd like to introduce the executive director. By the way, this is this year's executive director's first time celebrating the Three Kings Day Parade celebration as director. So I'd like everyone to welcome to the stage. Big round of applause. Start clapping it up. Start clapping it up. For our new director, Patrick Sharpenauer.
Buenos días. Well, welcome to the 42nd Three King Day Parade organized by el Museo del Barrio. I would like to acknowledge the presence of the elected officials that have supported unconditionally el Museo del Barrio. We have today with us New York Comptroller Scott Stringer, Manhattan Borough President Gail Brower, State Senator Jose N. Serrano, Assemblyman Robert Rodriguez, Councilwoman Diana Ayala, Bronx Borough President Ruben Diaz Jr. More than 40 years ago, Jack Agüeros founded the Three King Day Parade event. Now, today we're honoring Marcel Agüeros, his son, and as I said in many occasions, el Museo del Barrio mission is not only to organize exhibitions and artistic activities, but mainly to preserve some of the traditions of Puerto Rican, Caribbean, and Latino Americans in New York. This is a community museum, and the purpose of this institution is to preserve also traditions. This event was made possible by really committed sponsors: Con Edison New York, Nielsen, Tal Prop Manhattan North Management, Mount Sinai Hospital. Thank you for your support. We have also today with us our Board of Trustees. Some of our Board of Trustees, we have our Chair, María Eugenia Mauri. María Eugenia. We have also Director Emerita and former Director of el Museo del Barrio, Susana Torruella Leval. And our trustee, Angie Cabrera. Thank you for your support and welcome everyone.
All right, let Patrick know one more time. Come on, the new director. All right, so here's a handful of thank yous that we must make, because without these folks, the parade could not happen, right? And I know some of the folks are in the crowd, so we'll give them, show them some love. All right, so we'd like to give the 42nd, this is the 42nd annual Three Kings Day Parade. 42nd, you know what that means? That it's still 42nd, 42 times people got together to make this happen. And it's still happening strong, bigger and better every single year. And it's made possible thanks to in-kind support generously provided by the 23rd Precinct, Carlos Diaz and the Terrence Cardinal Cook Health Center, our monks, Peter Quiñones and Rafael Morales, and a heartfelt thank you to our steering committee members for their tireless efforts and steadfast dedication: Linda Bonilla, Partnership for Parks, Maritza Carmona, Friends of the Highline, Isabel M. Figueroa, The Point CDC, Roberto G. Lebron, Office of the New York State Attorney General. We also have Christine Licata, Bronx Museum of Arts, Alberto Menora, Proyecto Bravo, Emily Parkey, Dream Charter School, Eileen Reyes Arias, Mayor's Office of Immigrant Affairs, Eric Rivera, Office of the Mayor, City of New York, Joe Rogers Jr., Total Equity Now, Nina Saxon, Office of New York City Comptroller Scott M. Stringer, Taina Traverso, Taina Touch Enterprise Incorporated, yes, and community advocates Carmen Vasquez, Gwen Perez, and Alicia Rodriguez. Let's show them all lots of love. All right, so we also want to acknowledge the remarkable lineup of this year's parade. Annette Aguilar and the String Beans, Bombayo, Cabezudas from the Loisaida Center, the New York City Parks Department, Teatro do 20, PSMS 57 Marching Band Cheerleaders and Color Guards, Yaqueres, Los Pleneros de la 21, Guabapu Garifuna Dance Theater, and Fuego Azul NYC. Big round of applause for our parade performance. All right, now I'd like to acknowledge our elected officials who are present and who continue to support in this time honored tradition, and invite them to say a brief few words. First on our list, and I get a chance to hear this gentleman speak every year as I've been hosting the breakfast here at the parade. I'd like to welcome to the stage our New York City Comptroller, Scott M. Stringer.
Well, Feliz Dia de los Reyes. Happy Three Kings Day. And I am so happy to be here with all of our people who we honor and respect, the kings and queens of our community. Let's give it up for El Barrio, stronger and better than ever. And this Museo del Barrio has always been the centerpiece in the community. And part of the mission is not only about culture, but it's about preservation, to make sure that the people in this community that built the neighborhood, when speculators didn't want to come here, you stayed and built this amazing neighborhood, and we've got to keep it that way, right?
Yes,
and I hope you agree with that.
Yes.
So, for me, and I'm not going to speak long, for me, as a parent, I am navigating, like many of you, the holiday season. And many of you know that my stepfather is from Puerto Rico, and I had sort of an epiphany this holiday season when my 7-year-old on the 7th night of Hanukkah said to me, "What am I getting for Christmas?" 7 days, right? I'm broke, the bill's coming, and he says, "What am I getting?" And I said, "Well, Max, slow down here. We just did the Hanukkah thing, right?" And then he said, "Well, wait a minute. What about abuelo? Grandpa is Puerto Rican. So I celebrate Christmas. Where's my present?" So today, this morning, I was trying to explain Three Kings. And I didn't tell him the whole story, because I can't afford it, okay? So I just want you to know, I hope to come back here and rearrange the deck. But to all the honorees, such distinguished people, we say to you, thank you for all you do every day. And for those who have been in so many important positions, there is life after what you do, because you're now kings and queens forever. Thank you very much. Thank you.
That was so funny. Oh man, that was awesome. You know, I was just thinking, lay away. Oh no, lay away. You get in March. All right. Now I'd like to welcome to the stage our Manhattan Borough President, Gail Brewer.
Well, happy Three Kings Day. It is wonderful to be here. I want to thank not just Patrick, but the entire staff, because there were times when it was an in-between in terms of district, in terms of the manager and the management, and I want to thank the board. I really want to thank the museum, El Museo, for something very special, which is East Harlem went through a redistricting. And this museum and the staff were very involved, going to every single stakeholders meeting and making sure that culture was number one on the discussion. So I want to say, in addition to being a great place of art, Three Kings Day, you are so much a part of the community in a real way, not just talk, but actual action. And that's really, really important to me, who cares desperately that this community and this city never, ever forgets. The elected officials and the city, state, and federal government should be giving more money to the arts. And this is an example where you play a very major role. I know we need more space in the building. I'm very aware of that, Patrick, and the board, so we're working on that. I think also you play a huge role because you work with the schools. If we don't have more art and culture in the schools, then we're not going to have audience. We're not going to have the understanding of the importance. New York City is nothing without El Museo. New York City is nothing without the art and culture. So it is an honor to be here because you fulfill every single role that an institution should be. I'm so happy to be here again. I was here in September for the reopening after the museum had been closed. And in our office, we allocated funding for the HVAC system. Now that's something that nobody's going to put their name on, and nobody cares except when it's hot or cold, and then it has to work. So thank you, New Yorkers, for having the tax base to pay for the HVAC system here at El Museo. There are 2 million Latinos in New York. We have the largest population of the Puerto Rican community anywhere in the world, and more Dominicans live in our city anywhere outside of Santo Domingo. It is the greatest city in the world because of this culture. So I am, as a borough president, I think like all of you, 1,000% committed to arts and culture in the schools, in the community, and at El Museo. Every single child in New York City should have art in their life, particularly here at El Museo. So it's a diverse population that we love. I thank you for bringing us together for Three Kings Day year after year. I celebrate all of you. You always look fabulous. The weather's great today. We've been out there in snow and rain and all kinds of wind. Today is a perfect day to be celebrating And I think it's also something like a 50th anniversary of this great institution. Congratulations.
All right, let's go one more time. Give us some love, everybody. Next to the stage is a very good friend to a lot of folks here. This is a guy that you see in the community, moving and shaking like so many of you. I think I just saw him this morning. I said, man, you look great with a beard. And I think you have to get a beard because everybody kept mistaking him for the freestyle singer George Lamont. So he looks great with a beard. Please welcome Assemblyman Robert Rodriguez.
This is a family affair here in El Barrio and here at the Museo. So I brought with me my son, Matias Rodriguez. This is actually his first Three Kings Day parade as well. So we're going to measure success by how many more we all have together. So I just wanted to say thank you for having me. This is a tremendous event. It's a community event. This is El Día de los Reyes. This is where we as a community get to celebrate our traditions, our heritage, and yes, we celebrate Christmas too, but we save one or two gifts for the Día de los Reyes. So it's important as a community to have this celebration because El Museo is an institution that is one that we cherish. It is our beacon for culture, for the Puerto Rican culture here in the city, but also the Latino culture. It's a place where we can come to pass forward traditions, ideas, and have places for art to thrive amongst our community. And that is what we have held to be the mission for this institution. That is what we continue to fight for in terms of making sure that we preserve it, allow it to grow, give it the resources it needs, because this city is only becoming more Latino. The art is only going to become more mainstream. And this has been the place where we have been able to allow artists to make that leap and that jump. And it's the commitment of this institution and so many people who are here that make that happen. And this day is the culmination or the celebration of a lot of that effort. So I just wanted to say thank you for allowing me to be there. I will continue to be a supporter of this event and also of the Museo. And more importantly, continue to make sure that we pass on our traditions. Thank you.
All right, that was like a 2-for-1 special right there. That was good. That was good. And he's learning early, right? He's learning early about community and politics, and he's watching, he's checking it out. We'd like to bring on some more folks to say a few words. This woman I'm about to bring up to the stage, she's also a mover and shaker in our community. Please welcome Councilwoman Diana Ayala.
I'm a mover, not so much of a shaker, but good morning, everyone. I will tell you that I'm the only elected official that hates to get up early in the morning, but this morning I was really excited to be here because last year was supposed to be my first Three Kings event as an elected official representing El Barrio, and because of the weather we had to cancel it, so I was really, really extremely excited to be here today. I mean, what can I say that hasn't been said? We all love El Museo, but as Gail, pointed to, as East Harlem, I represent East Harlem and the South Bronx, two communities that are rapidly changing. I grew up in the Lower East Side, so I remember what that looked like for us back then. It is extremely important that we preserve not only the institutions, but the culture. And that is exactly what we do with this parade, with this event year in and year out. And so I am extremely proud and extremely excited to be here celebrating the 42nd annual. I remember when I was on the planning committee. I remember the year where we almost didn't have camels and there was like a community riot because the camels wouldn't be a part of the festivities. I remember 3 years ago when they stood in front of our office and peed there. Our beloved camels. But seriously, thank you all for being here this morning. I look forward to marching with you today, and I look forward to marching for the next 30, 40 years. Thank you.
All right. You guys having a good time so far? Did everybody get breakfast yet? All right. So I want to share a quick little story because I'm going to introduce our next speaker. When my mom decided to go back to college, she was already close to 60, and she had never went to college. She always wanted to go to college, and she turned to me and she said, "Do you think it's a good idea at this age?" And I said, "Mommy, it's never too late to go to college." She went to Mercy College. She graduated, The special guest speaker at her graduation was this gentleman that I'm bringing up to the stage. He inspired us then, he's gonna inspire us again. All the way from the Boogie Down Bronx, please welcome Bronxboro President Ruben Diaz Jr.
Good morning, buenos días.
Buenos
Hay
días.
cariño, no hay cariño.
Ay, cariño.
Hay cariño, no hay cariño.
Ay, cariño.
Feliz año nuevo, feliz día de los Reyes Magos, año nuevo. I just wanted to say to El Museo del Barrio, thank you for continuing with this wonderful tradition. But let me just say this. Let's not leave it just to El Museo del Barrio to continue the tradition. You know, it was my dad and mom who, with my family, with my siblings and I, with our children, their grandkids, who kept the tradition and keep the tradition alive by telling their story. Todos ustedes tienen una historia de Día de los Reyes Magos. Papi, la historia de tener una cajita con la grama que la ponían debajo de la cama. Mommy with her little story about having a doll that abuelita would give her, and the fact that they were poor and there were too many of them, so she would let mommy play with the doll for a couple of days, take it back, just to give it to her again next year. But this is our tradition. This is who we are as Latinos here in the city of New York, in the Bronx. The majority of the population is Latino, so this weekend we are celebrating in a very big way. The other thing is, what are we celebrating? We are celebrating the birth of Jesus Christ. For those of us who are Christian, for those of us who believe in Christmas, for those of us who believe que los Reyes Magos visitaron a Jesucristo, my father always says, you cannot be a good Christian without being a good citizen. And so let this be a time also where we reaffirm our civic commitment, our Christian values to the people that are around us. You see, there are many similarities. Think about the time when baby Jesus was born. There was a very bad king named King Herod. We had somebody called 45 in the White House. Think about the fact that Joseph and Mary and Jesus, they came from a foreign land. In essence, they were immigrants. Think about the fact that they didn't have a roof over their head. They were homeless when he was born in that manger. And so if we are to celebrate in true spirit this holiday season, this tradition, let us do so fighting for the immigrants. Let us do so fighting for those that are homeless. Let us do so fighting for those who just want an opportunity. And so the fact that we're here once again, 42 years later, we want to thank you, Patrick, and the Board of Trustees. We want to thank you for continuing this tradition. But let us make it more than just celebrating and dancing and singing. Let us make it about the true spirit of what the season is about. And lastly, let me just say that I love that there's a queen up here. And you couldn't have chosen a better queen. No disrespect to the men, Jorge. I love Dr. Betty Rosa, the very best that our community has to offer. I know this, that when you examine the Gospels, when you examine the book of Matthew, they never, ever mentioned having only 3 kings. So I'm glad that we rectify that here today. God bless you. I love you.
All right. Yes, Queen is in the house. Yes. All right. And we're going to get to these beautiful madrinas and padrinos that are here in just a few, so hang tight. It's almost like I'm setting it up because it's coming soon. Just want to acknowledge because you guys look great, by the way. All right, so we'd like to welcome our next speaker to the stage. This is our State Senator, Jose M. Serrano, Chair of Cultural Affairs, Tourism, Parks, and Recreation Committee.
Well, we'll see, right? Thank you so much for having me here, and I was so inspired by the words of Bronxboro President Ruben Diaz. My district, as everyone knows, is a very weird geographic district covering 2 boroughs, and I have both of my borough presidents here, Gail Brewer and Ruben Diaz, and it's really great to be with all of you once again as we celebrate this such an important tradition here in El Barrio, in East Harlem, but indeed for all New Yorkers and for Latinos around the world. But I want to speak a little bit specifically about the importance of El Museo and cultural institutions like this and what they bring to the fabric of New York City. It cannot be overstated when I say that the cultural institutions, those who do so much of the education of issues like this, really are in many ways the lifeblood of our community. And it often is overlooked. It's overlooked at budget time. It's often overlooked by those in power, but not in this community. We understand that places like El Museo have been a beacon of hope in our community for so many years. But even more specifically, this wonderful tradition that we have here today, every year this parade grows, it gets bigger, it gets more celebratory, and it gives the youth in our community and the children the opportunity to learn about these traditions, to celebrate with their neighbors, and to really have a wonderful time on this joyous occasion. So thank you all for being a part of it. Thanks.
All right. Okay, so I'd like to acknowledge Cynthia Rodriguez. Where are you, Cynthia? All right, I'd like to acknowledge you. She's representing Congressman Adriano Espaillat. Give her a big round of applause. All right, and now I'd like to welcome to the stage our former speaker and former councilwoman, Melissa Mark Viverito.
Buenos días a todos.
Buenos días, ex.
You know, let me say a couple of quick things. You know, it's all been said about the importance of this event. But let's be clear that this event was under threat just a few years ago. This museum, we want to give them credit for maintaining this tradition. But also, this tradition is one that belongs to us as a community and that we must defend and we must support. So it is also incumbent upon us to make sure that we do not lose this parade, that we not lose the value that it brings to the preservation of our culture and our identity. Yo soy una puertorriqueña sumamente orgullosa, and I was proud to serve this district. I was proud to be the Speaker of the City Council, and I believe that all of us as a community must close ranks to defend our continued presence in this community and in this city. Our numbers continue to grow, and yet the representation that we have seems to be dwindling. So I want to thank El Museo, very proud alongside with Diana, now that she is our representative, she is my councilwoman, that we continue to do historic levels of investment in this institution, but we still have a long ways to go. Hopefully, we'll be able to occupy more space in this building at some point in the future. We want to see El Museo continue to thrive and continue to grow. Congratulations to the padrinos, to the madrinas, los reyes, las reinas. It's great to see our leaders in this community. And this institution is so invaluable, and very proud to be here with all of you today. And we had a historic, Congressman Espaillat, why is he not here? Because we just had a historic moment in Congress where he is doing his due diligence by representing us, a historic level of representation of people of color in the U.S. House of Representatives. And a very exciting time. So, felicidades a todos. Los vemos en el desfile. And let's continue to stay strong and continue to defend the Museo del Barrio. Thank you so much.
All right, now I'd like to introduce a very good friend of mine who is an award-winning poet, longtime El Barrio resident, and one of the original founders of the Nuyorican movement. This man right here, his name is Jesus Papoleto Melendez. He has served as our King Emeritus for the past over 20 years. Please, I'd like to ask Papoleto to join me on stage for a special award and a poetic performance.
This is one of my favorite people on the planet. Thank you, Victor. Thank you. He always does a very good job of introducing people very respectfully. Thank you. Well, yeah, okay. I'm going to share a poem with you. It's in the program, they told me. So you can read along with me. I have a lot of fun doing this. It's called In a Grain of Sand. And I wrote this just a few years ago for all of us. It goes like this. We are star seeds, every one of us. You and me and you and him and her and them, and those who know of this are truly blessed. True for all living beings, not humans only, but ants and trees and the open breeze, things that breathe air or fire, water, earth, all kinds of dust and dirt. Particles are part of everything, and it is in everything. Thus it sings, and its song is life, and life is a seed of stars, the dust of suns and moons, rocks and dust and outer smoke in outer space, floating in a bath of timelessness, counted, measured, numbered by some species, others carry not. Science and mathematics trying to plot poetry in motion, motion in a helix's curve, and life on earth becomes visible to you through the naked eye. God bless!
One more time for Papoleto. Come on! All right, so we've gotten to the moment of these beautiful people that have joined us today as madrinas and padrinos. First off, I want to say bendición. Okay, gracias. Thank you. I just got one or two. Everybody's like, okay. Okay, we got to keep that bendición thing going, baby. When I was little, you had to say bendición to your elders. Now it's like, yo, what up, ma? What's up? Yo, I'm hungry. All right. So it was great pleasure that I introduced to you our honorary madrinas and padrinos. Chosen by our steering committee, each of our honorees' headdresses are designed by artists Rhina Valentin and Lucy Carampilia. Each are representative of a Latino cultural icon. Our honorees are an exceptional group of individuals affecting change on the local level. So, as I call your name, and I'm gonna start with the madrinas, when I call your name, please join me on stage to receive your award, and please refer to the program for the honoraries' full bios. Okay, this is of course for the crowd. All right, we're gonna start off with this young lady who, first time I met her, watched her documentary. Please welcome Ana Rockefeller Garcia, choreographer, editor, and co-founder of Full Circle Productions. Ms. Garcia is Pedro Pietri. All right, La Cajita. I'd like to welcome Alicia Grullon, who unfortunately could not be here today. She is an interdisciplinary artist whose art critiques the politics of presence. Ms. Grullon is Julia de Burgos. She couldn't be here with us today, but let's give her a big round of applause. I'd like to welcome Blanca Amezekwa, right? Is that close? Amezekwa. You and I, we're gonna have some coffee later so that I get that name right. Blanca is a cultural promoter, educator, and project initiator. Ms. Amezekwa is Isabel Gonzalez. This next woman is the woman who brought me to the Museo. That was the year that I was a padrino. She invited me and, of course, the steering committee, and everyone decided that I should be a padrino one year. And she was very supportive of a lot of stuff that I've done when I was, working with her at a Museo. Because of her, I began hosting the Three Kings Day Parade breakfast. Please welcome Eileen Reyes Arias, Director of Intergovernmental Affairs at the Mayor's Office of Immigrant Affairs, and a member El Museo's family. Ms. Reyes Arias is Pedro Albizu Campos. I'd like to welcome Nancy Mercado, writer, educator, activist, and editor of the Nuyorican Women Writers Anthology. Dr. Mercado is pura belpre. Bienvenidos. Okay. Missing anybody? Because I saw an angel. I thought she was getting an award too. Okay, so now we're gonna take some pictures, right? Wanna make sure we get the pictures. All right, ladies, thank you so much. Congratulations. Be careful exiting the stage. You can follow, I guess, exit the same way you came from. You as a dancer, you can jump right off the stage. I know you're not afraid of that. We'll work out exits and entrances for next year. Don't worry, we'll be all right. So we're gonna take a quick photo. I'll just be in the background like this. All right, so now I'd like to introduce our honorary padrinos. Please join me on stage to receive your award. First person up is Henry Obispo, CEO and founder of Born Juice, the first juice bar of its kind in the Boogie Down Bronx. Mr. Obispo is Celia Cruz. We'd like to welcome Marcel Agüeros, Associate Professor of Astronomy at Columbia University and son of the founder of the Three Kings Day Parade. Mr. Agüero is Jack Agüero, his father. Okay, Henry, este para usted. Usted, señor. Okay, so now I'd like to welcome Luis Reyes, Research Associate at the Center for Puerto Rican Studies at Hunter College. Mr. Reyes is Antonia Pantoja. Gonzalo Mercado, Executive Director and Founder of La Colmena Community Job Center. Mr. Mercado is Perry Thomas. And last but not least, Gabriel Quickset Dionisio. Dionisio, perdón, no me, por favor, no me dé. Quickset. That's what I meant, Quickset. Perdón, I had my coffee this morning. Gabriel is a choreographer, editor, and co-founder of Full Circle Productions. Mr. Dionisio is Rafael Tufino. Take a quick picture. 1, 2, 3. All right. Okay, gracias. Thank you so much. Big round of applause for the padrinos and the beautiful madrinas. And now we get to the kings and queen, or the queen and the kings. We'll keep it the queen and the kings. All right. These amazing individuals have demonstrated meaningful service and commitment to all of New York City's barrios and Latino communities. Reyes, please approach the podium as I call your name. First king on our list is Hiram Maristani, or Maristani, depending who you talk to. Hiram was a founder and the official photographer for the Young Lords Party. From 1975 to 1977, he served as director of el Museo del Barrio. Deeply involved in the Puerto Rican arts movement, Hiram has documented its developments and personalities for 40 years. While serving as a mentor to numerous Puerto Rican and Latino artists in the city, Hiram recorded everyday life in El Barrio, the neighborhood that served as an incubator for the New York Puerto Rican identity, the neighborhood that he has always called home. Hiram Maristani is Arturo Schomburg. Hiram, thank you. An amazing individual, honestly. Thank you for all your contributions. And I say that sincerely. We have some great conversations, and he's always constantly checking in with me and educating me to make sure that we stay in the mix, that we don't come second, we come first as a Puerto Rican people. And I'm very proud to say that I can say he's a friend. Thank you, Hiram. Okay, I should have brought up the Queen first, but I have to apologize to her. I mean, she is truly amazing. A lot of you know her as another important mover and shaker in the community, and that is Dr. Betty Rosa. Dr. Betty Rosa is the Chancellor of the New York State Board of Regents. Born in New York City and raised in Puerto Rico, Dr. Rosa first worked in the New York City Department of Education as a bilingual teacher before serving as principal of IS 218, where she introduced an integrated linguistic model in developing a multilingual and multicultural school for both general and special education populations. Later, she was the superintendent of District 8 in the Bronx. Dr. Rosa is also the president and founder of BDJ and J Associates, consulting for large urban school districts throughout the country. Dr. Betty Rosa is Ana Caona.
Buenos días. Gracias por este honor. Thank you so much for this honor. And on behalf of the Board of Regents and my borough president, who was instrumental in being the first Latina female on the Board of Regents Chancellor in 243 years. So I am so proud to be here representing our young women, aspiring for all these amazing gifts that I have received and giving back. And I know that through our work and our children, it is every day that these gifts, as the three kings for advance, that we continue to give gifts to community, to our children, to all that work with our most precious possessions, our children. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Betty Rosa. That was beautiful. And thank you for everything that you've done, honestly. Gracias. So the next king that I'd like to introduce, probably my grandma had a heart for him, I'm not sure. I gotta do the research. He might have been a fantasy, bro, I'm sorry. Just gotta put it out there. Pero bendición, primeramente. Que Dios te bendiga. And that is Jorge L. Ramos. Give him some love. Jorge Ramos was the senior news anchor for Noticiero 47 on Telemundo 47, New York, WNJU, the local station serving the Spanish-speaking communities of the New York tri-state area. Ramos began his career in the media in 1972, working at the radio station WKVM in Santurce, Puerto Rico. An award-winning journalist, Ramos joined Telemundo 47 in 1979 as one of its founding members. For almost 4 decades, Ramos worked closely with the Latino community and collaborated with many organizations. Ramos has received 7 Emmy Awards, was inducted into the Silver Circle of the New York National Academy of Television Arts and Sciences, and recently received a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Promax Latino in Miami, Florida. Jorge L. Ramos es Miguel del Cervantes. Bienvenido.
Thank you so much. Muy buenos días. It is indeed a great honor of this recognition. Thank you so much, Patrick, and to everyone in el Museo del Barrio. Una de las tradiciones hermosas que tenemos en nuestra cultura es precisamente la celebración de los 3 Reyes Magos. Qué bueno que Rubén Díaz Jr. habló de el verdadero sentido de esta época, que es el sentido cristiano. Lo que celebramos en Navidad es el nacimiento de Jesús, y lo que celebramos ahora, el 6 de enero, el día de la Epifanía, es la llegada de los 3 Reyes Magos con oro, incienso y mirra para honrar al niño Jesús. Y recuerdo de niño, creciendo en Puerto Rico, lo que señalaba anteriormente Rubén Díaz. El 5 de enero, por la noche, papi y mami buscaban una cajita de zapatos vacía, nos la daban a nosotros, íbamos al patio de la casa a buscar la gramita para los camellos, y con mucho entusiasmo, mucha emoción, nos poníamos debajo de la cama con ansiedad, esperando a ver qué regalito. Y qué bueno que el Museo del Barrio continúa haciendo esta celebración. It's good that this tradition, so that we can teach our children that that's part of the Christian celebration in our culture. Los puertorriqueños, los cubanos, los caribeños, todos los latinoamericanos que celebramos esta fiesta. Qué bueno que se está preservando. Así que felicitaciones al Museo del Barrio, felicitaciones a todos los directores, porque son 42 años de esta historia, 40 años de mi historia ante el mundo, sirviéndole a ustedes. Gracias.